Hello kings, queens, and non-binary nobles. Today I want to talk about a serious problem in the Danganronpa fanbase. This issue has been going on for years and the jokes are pretty problematic. I want to explain to people why I think this behavior is not okay. Before I get started, I want to leave a couple warnings. Kotoko's trigger word has to do with these topics. I am not going into detail on these things, but the word implies these things have happened to her. I also want to say there are multiple uses of the G word. This video is more meant for people who don't know why these jokes are being made and for them to understand why making these jokes is disrespectful. Speaking in vague terms will only confuse those people more. I do not mean any harm by doing this. Only 2 of the sections in this video are not censored though, so if you would rather avoid the G word, here's the span of the sections that are not censored. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's start by reviewing the context for people who forgot or never played Danganronpa Another Episode. In the game Danganronpa Another Episode, there are child characters who are basically the antagonists of the game. They call themselves the Warriors of Hope. Each member of the Warriors of Hope have experienced a different kind of abuse from the adults in their lives. In Kotoko Utsugi's case, the word that upsets her is gentle. She becomes extremely upset whenever someone says the word gentle. Monica, basically the main villain of the game, uses this to manipulate Kotoko. Now that we have the context, let's look at the jokes people have made. Across social media sites, many people have made gentle jokes. I can only check so many sites considering I don't really use social media, so almost all the jokes I have seen come from YouTube comments. I do know there are gentle jokes on Wattpad, but that's the extent of my knowledge. If you know about other platforms that have gentle jokes, feel free to share. Okay, so most of the jokes are made when somebody says the word in a comment. The video is about Kotoko, or when people tell others to not make the jokes in the first place. On screen, I will show examples of the jokes. I have a couple problems with these jokes. 1. They aren't very funny. Like, imagine if we take away the problematic parts. We are just left with people spamming a word. What am I supposed to be laughing at? What is the punchline? All you did was write a word or quote a line. 0 creative work done. It's even more annoying when people spam gentle under a comment telling people to stop. Like, bruh, you aren't that clever. The shock factor definitely wears off the second you see another one, which I think is the reaction they want you to have. And 2, I think you are being pretty insensitive by making these jokes. There are multiple people in the fanbase who have said they have gone through similar things to Kotoko. You are making many people uncomfortable by doing this, and overall being very inconsiderate of other people's feelings. Yes, I understand that dark humor can be funny. I can enjoy dark humor. But there is a difference between dark humor and being disrespectful. Now that we have gone over the jokes and the problems I have with them, I would like to go over the defenses people use in support of the jokes, because I think these defenses are pretty weak. There are 3 prominent defenses for the jokes. I want to go over each one and discuss why I think they don't really work. 1. It's just a fictional character. Yes, I know she's just a fictional character. I know she can't get upset by these jokes because she's not real in the first place. I am not stupid. But people in real life can have feelings and opinions about these jokes. Again, there are people in the fandom who have experienced and don't think these are very funny. Consider those people's feelings and put yourself in their shoes. People don't like them for a valid reason. G-word jokes are making a joke about something that shouldn't be joked about. 2. I don't care, or I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't see how this defends yourself. It also seems like you are acknowledging that people are upset and this isn't the right thing to do. I don't know, just when people say this, it's kind of like they are saying, even if it's bad or even if I know it's bad, I'm gonna do it anyway because I don't care. Or at least it does to me. You are being purposefully rude, which you usually want to do the opposite. Like, come on, really? 3. It's just dark humor. Humor is subjective. On the internet, you are going to have a wide audience, with people coming from all different types of backgrounds and experiences. Not everybody is going to be okay with you making those jokes. I understand making these kinds of jokes can be used as a coping mechanism, but only make those jokes with people who are comfortable with you doing that. I also want to address another smaller argument made. For context, I have only seen one person make this argument, and they were playing devil's advocate, but the reply got a decent amount of attention, so I wanted to tackle it. The reply basically asks this. People make murder jokes. That happens in real life too. Why is it any different from making jokes about child abuse? The murders in Danganronpa have not happened in real life. They have an element that makes it less realistic. The 11037 joke is nonsensical because people usually don't use numbers to expose their killer. What Kotoko experienced has actually happened to people. Kotoko experienced multiple forms of CSA, so people can relate to one or multiple things she experienced. Of course, not exactly what she experienced, but something similar. So making those kinds of jokes is crossing a line. CSA is no laughing matter. Now that we have analyzed the defenses, what should people do in response to these jokes? There are many people who also think G-word jokes are wrong. I personally, and I imagine those people as well, are sick and tired of seeing these jokes. But that doesn't give people an excuse to be mean to others. Do not harass or attack people who make these jokes. Being a bad person back does not improve the situation at all. A lot of people who are making the jokes just want attention, so you really wouldn't be helping by attacking them. I would at least try to politely correct the person making the joke, and if that doesn't work, dislike it so less people see it. Many people have pointed out that you should censor the G word when typing it out. It would be better to use a replacement phrase like the G word instead of replacing a couple letters with numbers or slashes. This is because people can still recognize the word if you only censor a couple letters. You are doing more by using phrases like the G word. I am pretty sure you can censor the G word by replacing every single letter except the G, so there's another form of censorship. When there are people who are criticizing these jokes and don't censor the G word, just politely correct them. I have only seen positive responses to a correction, so as long as you're nice about it, I am sure people won't mind. When criticizing these jokes, make sure the topic is related to your criticisms. Nobody wants to see such a heavy topic on an Ultra Despair Girl shitpost, so keep that in mind. I would have these discussions with a thing that has to do with somebody making the joke and Kotoko Utsugi herself. Keep the conversation civil, and when you're disagreeing, do so respectfully. Overall, just make sure you are being as respectful and mature as possible when having these conversations, because with the conversation's topics you will need to be. I strongly believe G-word jokes are problematic. If you make G-word jokes, you need to grow the hell up, because you are being inconsiderate, rude, annoying, and disrespectful when making these jokes. If you didn't immediately catch on to what Kotoko went through when playing Ultra Despair Girls, I think you need to rethink participating in the fandom, because you are a little young to be playing these games. I know that won't stop you from playing, but just saying. When talking about the G word, make sure it is censored properly. It can cause you a lot of problems if you don't, and it's just a nice thing to do. Of course, you can use the G word outside of the Danganronpa fan base. It's just that in the Danganronpa fandom, the word has a different meaning to it. So censor it here, but you don't have to censor it anywhere else. I guess my advice for people who make G-word jokes is, think before you post because your actions do have consequences. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening, and bye.